The New England Patriots need to figure this out, and fast. Let's talk about it. My name is Aaron. This is Sports Talk Patriots on the daily, pushing out that content to people just like you who can't get enough Patriots football. So do me a favor, before we even get started, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and comment below. So today what we're going to be talking about, ladies and gentlemen, you already know the offensive line and the struggles that have ensued this whole entire season. Starting from Okorafor walking off the field to having multiple different starting rotations throughout the season, players just playing inconsistent. So we are going to jump into that, really dive into that, and talk about this season as well as the off season. As well, what we're going to be talking about, some Jabril Peppers and that whole situation, him being able to come back to practice. So we're going to jump into that. First and foremost, the game on Sunday against the Miami Dolphins in Miami. Two players in particular not playing so hot, and that was Jacobs and Lowe, right tackle and left tackle respectively. Now, both had multiple false starts, both had holding penalties, and when it came to Jacobs, unfortunately, Chop Robinson, the rookie out of Penn State who dominated at Penn State, had 1.5 sacks off him and had multiple QB hurries. It was rough to watch. If you remember, Jacobs was the one who was picked up by the Patriots. He was originally dropped by the Denver Broncos in the preseason. The Broncos were hoping he'd come back around so they could put him on the practice squad, but that did not happen. So he comes to the Patriots, and instead of what he should be, probably a practice squad player, he is starting in the NFL for the New England Patriots offensive line, which now I will tell you, after having so much hope in him, this arguably is the worst offensive line in the National Football League. Now, Verdarian Lowe playing that left tackle spots, there have been times this year that he has surprised me, and he has done, I would say, better than I would have expected. But this game, again, three false start penalties, a holding, just having issues. Apparently, he came out today and basically talked about, hey, those are easy pre-snap things that can be fixed. Sure, the holding can't, but sure, the false starts can. And he wasn't. The good news was he wasn't benched. Jacobs was benched by City So. City So, we all know, is a guard. He's not a tackle. Should not start at tackle in the National Football League. But again, your two best offensive linemen, arguably, or at least one of them, should be your left tackle. These should be the people on your line holding the edge, really helping create that pocket for the quarterback. We know Drake May has been running for his life. He's had a lot of QB hurries. He was sacked 4 times against the Miami Dolphins. So it did not look great for him. And a lot of teams know, let's be honest. Again, you guys know I'm a high school PE teacher, but anyone who is watching film on the Patriots should go into the Patriots game and say, listen, we are going to chalk up all these different blitz schemes and stunts, and we are going to confuse this line, and we're going to get to the quarterback. That's what the Patriots did going into the Bears game, and they flustered Caleb Williams, and it worked. I do not know for the life of me why other teams are not doing that as much against the New England Patriots. Now, I would say Drake May does a good job at improvising. We can all agree on that. Again, you've heard me say before, if he started this season very well, I think he could be in the discussion, and other sports commentators have said that he could be in the discussion for Offensive Rookie of the Year. But again, you look at this offensive line, and Drake May is running for his life. He has been sacked a handful of times where you're like, is he going to get up? Is he going to get up? So you look at this glaring issue right here, and it makes you question, what in the world does Elliott Wolf and the Patriots organization need to do for this offensive line? Now, it's interesting. I stumbled upon this article, and it was talking about free agents being picked up in the offseason. Now, they dropped 3 names, one from Denver, one from Baltimore, one from Minnesota. We're going to jump into each one. So Garrett Bowles, and here's the thing. There's one common thing between all these guys that I'm not a huge fan of, and that is the fact that they are old. Now, they have all started a lot of games. You look, and again, if you want to get great information, Wikipedia actually has great information. I've said that once. I'll say it again. But games played, games started. He has started every game that he has played in, 106. So he has that experience. 32 years old. Again, he's probably going to want money. He's probably going to want a lot of money. And when it comes down to it, Are you going to want to go to the New England Patriots, or you want to go back to the Denver Broncos and probably sign a little less to play with a team that is competing a lot more than people expected? Bo Nix has really done great. The past 9 games, he has just dominated. Right now, probably a shoe-in for the Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, and so it would be smart for him to go back to the Broncos. That's my thought. He was second all-team All-Pro once. That was back in 2020. Again, he's probably going to want more money than I would say Wolf probably wants to get him. And so I would say, no, that's probably a pass. Ronnie Stanley, he plays for the Baltimore Ravens. He was a Pro Bowler back in 2019. That seems like forever ago. And one thing that's in common as well, I believe they are all first-round picks. But anyways, Stanley, again, you look at games played, game started, 87. So every game he's played in, he started every game. So consistently, you see tried and true starters in the NFL, which is not a bad thing. A lot of this offensive line for the New England Patriots are hodgepodge players that are thrown in that in all reality, some of them should be practice squad players on other teams. Again, Jacobs is one of those people. So again, I'm not really sold. 30 years old, sure, you might have some time left if you pick him up on a couple-year deal, and then hopefully you find someone else who is younger, hopefully in the draft. But again, the age is kind of a concern for me. Last but not least, is Cam Robinson for the Vikings. Now he just signed for he got traded to the Vikings, and he will be a free agent. But again, same thing. 93 games played, 93 games start. So that is all consistent. And so of all the players, this Cam Robinson, in my opinion, would be the most intriguing, and that is because he is somewhat younger. And again, not a first-round pick, second-round pick, but that doesn't matter. If you can play football, you can play football. But any of these guys could easily be plugged in and be a starter day one, no doubt. You look at these teams, the Baltimore Ravens are a solid team, could really make a push in the AFC. In all reality, last year, they were my pick to make it to the Super Bowl out of the AFC, and the Chiefs, being the Chiefs, came out of nowhere in the playoffs, and as usual, unfortunately, they ran the AFC and made it to the Super Bowl and unfortunately won the Super Bowl. Again, Bulls, with the Broncos, that's a team that is making a push for the playoffs and I think can make the playoffs if they continue to win down the stretch. They got some tough games coming up. But then you look at the Minnesota Vikings, and they are really, even though the Lions are dominating in the NFC North, the Minnesota Vikings are right behind them. And what's wild is they have Sam Darnold. This was a year that they did not expect to do well, and they are doing well. So, again, all these players, why wouldn't they just sign with the same team? So I understand if you get any of them, you're going to have to pay them. You're going to have to pay them much more. The Patriots have a lot of cap space, and they need to be aggressive. But again, they have to be smart. Elliott Wolf needs to be smart. Of these three players, again, I think Cam Robinson would be the smartest. But again, I prefer younger players. This is going to sound bad, but you kind of look at it like a car. Again, he's played in 93 games, started 93 games. When you look at a car, you go buy a car, you look how many miles have been driven on that car. And a lot of times, especially when we're talking offensive line, that's some tough mileage. That's not like you're going into the game and you're a long snapper, a punter, or a kicker, or anything like that. It is literally you are in the trenches. So it's a lot of wear and tear. So again, you look at a player like Okorafor. He was signed this past offseason. A lot of people thought he was going to fill in that tackle spot, and it went downhill quick, and it went up in flames. So you want to hope that Elliott Wolf goes into this situation in the offseason, addresses the offensive line, but does it in a way that is smart, and for years to come, it is going to help the New England Patriots. But again, any place you want to win, and I know I usually use the Houston Texans, but I am going to use the I want to say San Diego Chargers. It kills me to say Los Angeles Chargers because Los Angeles doesn't deserve to have two teams. But I'm just going to say it, the San Diego Chargers. And Jim Harbaugh, they went out there and they got Alto from a top 10 pick from Notre Dame. And they have gone out and they have surprised a lot of people. Again, it starts at the offensive line. It starts in the trenches. On the defensive side of the ball, it starts at the defensive line. That is where it all starts. If you have a good offensive line, that's going to make everything else run smoother and look better, whether it's on the defensive side or offensive side of the ball. So again, these are all interesting options from this article, but again, none of them really pique my interest. It would be more of a short-term, short deal where you sign someone and hope, hey, they can come in and do the job. But comment below, tell me what you think on that. As well, the New England Patriots did make some moves again on the offensive line, releasing Michael Jordan, MJ. You know, he won his 6 rings and came and played for the Patriots. Now he needs to go figure something else out, you know? And so I know that joke gets old. But Lester Cotton, a guard, was picked up, spent time with the Raiders and the Dolphins on both their 53-man rosters and practice squad. Again, don't expect him to get picked up and make huge moves, huge waves. But what's wild is Michael Jordan, 26 years old, younger, started 11 games for the Patriots this season, and then it was just he was booted. And I think there was games he did well. There was other games where he looked like a mess, where he was having a hard time pulling. Remember, we have to understand a lot of times guards are doing a lot of that work where it's, hey, I'm gonna pull, I'm gonna be that lead block, I'm gonna do these other things. And so I think that's one big thing that Michael Jordan really struggled with. But again, I think someone will find him, someone will pick him up. But again, this just stresses the Patriots need to make moves on the offensive line. In a lot this season, they have picked up a lot of guards, a lot of tackles. We look at Ben Brown, who is now starting at center. Jacobs, you have guys that were on practice squads on other teams now starting on this offensive line, which is wild. I'm not saying that, listen, you play in the NFL, you are a good player. Regardless if you're a bench player or not, you make it to the NFL and you're on a 53-man roster, you know how to play football. You're good at football. But the question is, can you play week in, week out without making mistakes? The offensive line needs to be something that goes in there. They are in there, and you're not even thinking of them, because you're thinking of the specialty players in the running back and the wide receiver and the tight end and the quarterback, and they're playing, doing their job, playing well, and you're not even thinking about them. That's what it should be week in, week out. But that has not been the case for the Patriots. So again, Elliott Wolf, if he wants to retain his job, if he wants to keep his job, one of the biggest things he needs to do is get offensive linemen and do a good job this offseason. Whew, man. Off my soapbox. Last but not least, Jabril Peppers. We know he was taken off the commissioner's exempt list. Apparently, his lawyer had to say that there basically is evidence that contradicts the victim's story. And I will say this. Earlier on when this happened, the first thing I said is, if these things are true and he is proven guilty, he needs to be kicked off the team, needs to go to prison, all these different things. 100%. Now, I'm assuming he has great lawyers, and them finding these contradictions to the victim's story is enough to show the NFL, hey, he shouldn't be on this list, let him play. And most likely that is trending towards obviously a not guilty, and he won't be he won't be getting in trouble or anything like that, which will be good. And the secondary needs Jabril Peppers back. That is what they need. And so Jabril had this to say: extremely thankful, especially obviously Thanksgiving. There's a lot to be thankful for right now. Just happy to be back around the guys, happy to be back around the building, happy to get back to doing what I love to do. I'm the type of person who, a lot of times I want to trust the best in someone. And again, especially for guys in situations like this, you hear this initially and it freaks you out and it makes you upset. But at the end of the day, the court needs to do what they need to do. And there have been many situations where, especially men who are wealthy, get in trouble or get in trouble for doing something like this, allegedly doing something like this, and it can ruin their life. And it's ruined people's life before, where they find out after the fact that it wasn't true. And so again, I hope the best. And now Gerard Mayo saying, look, we have him practice. It's great to be back, but we're still going to let things play out, and we'll see when he gets to play. And that's coach talk. He's going to say everything he needs to say, where it seems like, hey, he's not going to be in trouble, or let's let everything play out and make sure that we're all right in this situation, because the last thing the Patriots want to do is rush him back onto the field and then shoot, things go south in a hurry, and he actually is proven guilty. So again, we'll stay close to that situation as that continues to progress, but it is great that he is back in practice. So anyways, comment below, tell me what you guys think. Whatever we talked about today, I'd love to hear from you guys. My name is Aaron. You guys know this is Sports Talk Patriots. Colts coming up this weekend. We'll talk about that more. Hit that subscribe button. We'll talk later. Peace.